Each year, thousands of newcomers arrive and settle in Canada. From immigrants to refugees and protected persons, the diverse needs of newcomers requires a collaborative effort to assist in their journey in making Canada their new home. In British Columbia, the settlement sector is composed of several types of organizations and agencies. To help understand the different levels of the BC settlement and integration sector that are working together to create inclusive communities, it is important to start at the federal level. The federal government's ministry, known as Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada, or IRCC, facilitates the arrival of newcomers and offers programming to help newcomers settle in Canada.
Les programmes d'établissement et de réinstallation d'immigration, réfugiés et citoyenneté Canada permettent au gouvernement du Canada de respecter son engagement à veiller à ce que les nouveaux arrivants, y compris les réfugiés, s'intègrent et contribuent pleinement à l'économie canadienne et à leur communauté. Le programme d'établissement finance des services visant à éliminer les obstacles auxquels de nombreux immigrants et réfugiés font face lorsqu'ils s'établissent au Canada. Ces obstacles comprennent par exemple la connaissance des langues officielles, l'expérience de travail au Canada, la reconnaissance des titres de compétences étrangers et les différentes cultures. Grâce au programme d'établissement, les nouveaux arrivants admissibles reçoivent les informations dont ils ont besoin sur la vie au Canada, la communauté dans laquelle ils s'installeront, les formations linguistiques et l'aide pour trouver un emploi et des liens avec les immigrants établis et les Canadiens. Le programme d'établissement utilise un modèle de prestation de services par des tiers avec plus de 500 fournisseurs de services d'établissements financés par IRCC à travers le Canada, sauf au Québec, pour fournir des services de soutien et offrir des programmes aux nouveaux arrivants. En Colombie-Britannique et Yukon, nous travaillons avec à peu près de 100 fournisseurs de services.
IRCC also helps fund the settlement and integration sectors of each Canadian province and territory. The BC settlement and integration sector includes agencies providing both indirect and direct supports to newcomers. An example of indirect services supporting the BC settlement and integration sector is AMSA. AMSA is a unique province-wide association that strengthens over 80 member agencies as well as hundreds of community stakeholder agencies who serve immigrants and newcomers and build culturally inclusive communities with the knowledge, resources, and support they need to fulfill their mandates. As the provincial umbrella association for immigrant and newcomer serving agencies in BC, AMSA provides these indirect services to strengthen the capacity of organizations who work directly with immigrants and newcomers. The organizations who work directly with immigrants and newcomers are called service provider organizations. These organizations help newcomers settle into their life in Canada by providing a variety of services, including information sharing, language training, and many other supports. Spread out across BC, settlement organizations can differ greatly in size. Larger centre organizations often have more resources and programming available than organizations located in smaller communities in British Columbia. Smaller centre organizations often find innovative ways to provide supports to newcomers in their communities, despite the challenges they may experience in accessing resources and funding. Both large and small centres are an integral part of the supports provided to newcomers in BC. Looking at the specific programming available at settlement organizations across BC, one can find a robust series of programs aimed to meet very specific needs of newcomers. The Language Instruction for Newcomers program, or LINC, is one of the most common starting points for many newcomers in their journey to learning English.
The LINC program, which was established in 1992, is a free language training program for eligible adult learners. It's offered in English and in French, and it's funded by Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada. LINC is a key element of the federal immigration integration strategy, and LINC language learning helps an individual improve their reading, writing, listening, and speaking skills while learning about such topics as Canadian culture, the local community, jobs, money, health and safety, to name a few. And the program is designed to help newcomers learn the language and the information that they need to become oriented to the Canadian way of life. The LINC program is available to permanent residents of Canada, convention refugees, protected persons, and persons in Canada applying to become a permanent resident. Firstly, an individual must take the Canadian Language Benchmarks Placement Test to assess their level of language proficiency. So then the student then registers for classes in one of the over 40 organizations in British Columbia that offer LINK. LINK programs generally offer classes from literacy to level 8. Not all organizations offer all levels. So for example, here at Impact North Shore, we offer literacy to level 7. Some organizations offer LINK level 1 to level 8. Each level has descriptions of the language abilities or the competencies that are expected of the learners at the end of each level in all 4 skill areas. These competencies are the level outcomes. The instructor ultimately determines if the level outcomes have been reached and if the student is indeed ready to move to the next level. And students receive an official certificate when they complete a level, and those certificates can be used for citizenship and college or university applications.
SWIS, or Settlement Workers in Schools, is a program offered in collaboration with school boards across BC.
We are an organization that works in schools with students that are newcomers from other countries, non-Canadian kids that come here. We help them settle into the school and into the community, and really just helping families feel a little bit more welcome in the community. Daily, a SWIS worker would go into a school, meet with young students, do a little bit of a needs assessment, find out what they're struggling with, what their challenges are, and try to address that. Our challenge is getting into the schools. You don't want to pull kids out of class. You don't want to interrupt, and we certainly don't want to silo the students and really isolate them and identify them as anything other than a Canadian student. So what we've decided to do that's worked very well for us is have youth groups. We do leadership groups. We do lunch groups within the schools. So when students have free time on their lunch or free periods, they will get together. There'll be conversations, clubs, there'll be homework clubs, and a SWIS worker will develop that, will lead that, and also through observation, just kind of see who needs a little more help in different areas. Outside of the schools, we are reaching out to families, we're reaching out to the community in a big way to try to have the community connections that we can offer to the families. So it's kind of twofold. In the schools, they're working with students, but we also work with the families in the community.
The Resettlement Assistance Program, or RAP program, is designed to help government-assisted refugees with settlement in British Columbia.
So the RAP program, in terms of the role of settlement integration, it's a first step for recently arrived government-assisted refugees, also known as GARs. So these are UNHCR Convention refugees brought into Canada for resettlement. Some of the main supports for the newly arrived government-assisted refugees is to welcome them. So they arrive at the airport, and then they are taken taxis to arrive to temporary accommodations. They are, welcomed by first language counselors. They are provided some food cash for the first night, and they're told to take rest because, as you can imagine, coming off the plane, they're experiencing jet lag, culture shock. So that first night is really to provide them a chance to rest. The very next day, the first language counselor will meet with them and explain about the process. And typically this includes providing consent forms, doing a needs and asset assessment to understand what their needs are. We also help them open bank accounts, so they have bank accounts available before they leave the temporary accommodation. Primary medical examination are also done at this time. And then one of the most important things is helping them find permanent accommodation. Right when they're about to move out to their permanent accommodation to start their new lives, we make referrals to the community so that they are able to access supports and services. And this may include settlement services, school boards, SWIS workers to help their children go into schools, language classes known as LINK, and if they have young children, early childhood programs.
To support the settlement of Francophone individuals, several Francophone settlement organizations deliver services to this population. Francophone organizations also form what is called the RIF, or Réseau d'immigration francophone.
A Francophone Immigration Network, the Réseau en Immigration Francophone, is an indirect service provider. So our role is really to coordinate and to organize a network of Francophone organizations and Francophone settlement service providers to improve the experience of the Francophone immigrants here in BC. It takes its origin in 2003 when the federal government launches the strategic framework to foster immigration to Francophone minority communities. At that time, the objective was to attract more Francophone immigrants outside of Quebec, to help the Francophone communities grow and respect also the Official Languages Act in supporting the development of Francophone minority communities, and also to respect the obligation contained in the Immigration and Refugee Protection Act.
So at the BC Francophone Immigration Network, we currently have 33 members in the network, and we are proud to count on a large range of services offered by the Francophone community to immigrants. So we have settlement services with the Relais Francophone, which welcomes and supports permanent and temporary residents and naturalized citizens. We have the Collège Éducat Centre, which offers settlement services and language training programs such as Link, Link for Work, and Qu'il, the French language training. We have also Téfier services, which provide services to immigrants' families in Francophone schools. And we have La Société de Développement Économique, which specializes in employability of skilled immigrants. They mobilize employers and raise awareness about the hiring of Francophone immigrants. So all these organizations offering these services are members of the RIF-CB.
The Early Year Refugee Program that is intended to support refugee parents with learning about parenting within the Canadian context and their child development, as well as provide information on resources available to their families. Newcomers in BC are also able to access a variety of supports at other community-based organizations that are not specifically focused on providing supports just to newcomers. One example of a community-based organization is a neighborhood house. Neighborhood houses are open to anyone and serve as a hub for social connections, supports, and services responsive to local needs of the community. Many community-based organizations, service provider organizations, and other key stakeholders are part of what is called the Local Immigration Partnership, or LIPs. LIPs are intended to bring together a variety of stakeholders to collaboratively strengthen the settlement and integration sector through knowledge sharing and identifying barriers that newcomers face in the community. Case management is an intensive, holistic approach to serving vulnerable, multi-barriered clients. It builds their capacity to independently navigate mainstream settlement programming, community supports, and health services.
The role of a case manager is to provide one-on-one case management and group activities, to provide practical and essential settlement assistance, and also to provide holistic assessment. They may provide some home visitation, working with the vulnerable kinds in the community, and advocating or liaison with community resources that they need.
The vast array of stakeholders and organizations in the BC settlement sector all play an integral role. Understanding the different levels of support that are available is an important part of promoting awareness and collaboration across the sector. Time and time again, we've seen that sharing and teamwork amongst these groups results in stronger and more diverse communities across British Columbia.